I'm going to talk you through how we can install Harmony as an API and React frontend together with the Tika server as well on Windows. So Harmony runs in total as 3 servers, front-end on port 3000, and then the API itself, which is written in Python and Fast API. And finally, on port 9998, we have Tika, which is a separate Java library which we use for PDF parsing. So in this video, I'll teach you how to install all 3 of these components, plus any of their dependencies. If you just want to run Harmony in a Jupyter notebook, then please try one of our other videos which explains how to install the Harmony library as a standalone thing without the front end. So the first thing I want to install is Git. So I've searched on the internet for install Git, and I've found a Git installer. I download the 64-bit Git for Windows installer. Now I can click run, and I can run that. And I just click next, go through all the default options, and click install. Now Git will install. It's installing. It might take a couple of minutes. Okay, now the Git has installed, I just click finish. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to clone the Harmony repo. So I go to github.com/harmonydata/harmony API. So this is the first one we're going to clone, and I click code, and I copy the URL. Okay, now I'm going to launch my start menu, and I'm going to search for git bash. I press enter. Now I write git clone, and then this part is very important, --recurse --submodules. And then now I paste the URL that I'm trying to clone. I press enter. The reason for the recurse submodules is that Harmony API contains the Harmony Python library as a submodule, and it will not work if you don't clone all the submodules. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to clone the app, which is the React frontend. So it's the same URL, just change the end part to app.get. There we go. So now the app has been cloned. Next thing I need to install is Anaconda Python. So I go to the internet and find Anaconda Python. Go to anaconda.org. Click download Anaconda, skip registration, and I choose the Windows installer. Click open. And as before, we're just going to click next, I agree, next, and just go through the defaults of all the installation options. Can Google for install Java. Go to download Java for Windows, click download Java. Click open file, click install. There we are, so Java's installing. Okay, Java's finished installing. Click close. Now I want to download Apache Tika. Google for download Apache Tika, and I want this one, mirrors for tika-server-standard.jar. Click download, and that one I download it and I keep it. Now the next thing I can do, I click start menu, open the command prompt, go into my downloads folder and type java -jar tika server-standard.jar. So Tika is what Harmony uses to process PDFs. It runs as a web server on port 9998. So Harmony will communicate with it, or rather the Tika Python binding will communicate with the Tika web server. Okay, so that's Tika running. Now we can launch Anaconda. We can see if we can get the Harmony web server running. So I launch Anaconda prompt. I can go into the Harmony API, and the first thing I want to do is install the requirements. So I type pip install space -r space requirements.txt. This will install all of the dependencies. So in the meantime, Tika is still running. This will install all the Python libraries that Harmony depends on, and then we should be able to run the Harmony server. This part could take about 10 minutes. While that is installing, I will also install Node.js. So I can Google for install Node.js, click download Node.js, and just click download. And I'll get the installer for Node. Okay, so here's the setup wizard, the installer for Node. As before, just go next, accept all the defaults, and install it. Okay, Node.js has finished installing, so I click finish. I can close all these windows. And now let's launch a command line. And we can go into the app folder where I cloned Harmony. I can write npm install. And so this should build the Harmony front end as a package. Still installing. In the meantime, we want to tell the Harmony front end where to find the backend, because by default it would be connecting to localhost. So I'm going to go to where we've got the app cloned. I'm going to open this file called .env. I'm going to open this in Notepad. Okay. I'm going to change a couple of the URLs. So this information is in the GitHub repo. I'm going to change the API URL to point to localhost, and I'm going to change the URL of the React app itself to also point to localhost. So this means the app knows where it is and it knows what it's communicating with. So Node is still installing the Python front-end library, and we're also still installing the Python API library. We're installing the Harmony API library here in Anaconda, and we're installing the Harmony front-end library in Node here. Okay, so now the Harmony API has finished cloning, so now I can go python main.py. It finished installing the libraries. And so what it's going to do is going to go to Hugging Face and download all the transformer models which it needs to run the Harmony code. So this could take a while. My internet is fast. If your internet is a bit slower, it could take 10-20 minutes for all the transformer models to be downloaded from the Hugging Face hub. This stage will only run the first time that you launch the server. Okay, and fantastic. Our server is running on port 8000. So remember, we've got Tika here running as a web server on port 9998. and we've got Harmony API running on port 8000, which will communicate with the Tika server. So I'm going to allow access. So Windows has thrown up a security alert, and so we are allowing that server to run. And now let's visit localhost :8000, and we'll see if we can find Harmony. In fact, let's visit localhost 8000/docs. That should give us the view of the Harmony API. There we are. So here is the fast API interface. So this is really nice. This shows us the API call that we can do for parsing a PDF. And let's test it, because this will let us know if Tika is working correctly. So I click try it out. And here, this is a JSON payload which has a PDF file, a very small PDF file, as base64 encoding. So I can click execute, and you can see Harmony has called Tika, and it's received a response from Tika. One thing that I forgot, which was the Spacey models. Okay, so I've got to get Harmony to download the models for Spacey. So let's stop this. I'm going to press Control C, and then let's go Python. We'll download all the Spacey models. And so here we are. Harmony has correctly parsed the PDF and got the questionnaire items out. We can also call the match. Let's test the match is working. So I go down to the match API call, and I click try it out, and I click execute. And this one, Harmony, is using the Hugging Face LLM. So the Harmony API is up and running. So now all we've got to wait for is the Harmony front end. So npm install has worked. Let's just run it again because I changed the environment variables. Now I type npm start to launch the front end. And again, I've got to allow access. So Windows has thrown yet another security alert. And now Harmony is launching in the front end. And so here we have the React app running on port 3000 and the Harmony API running on port 8000 and Tika on 9998. So 3 web servers running on this Windows machine. And Harmony is running. It's great. So now let's take some example PDFs. Save this locally. And we can upload this. Okay. So again, you can see on the left, Tika is being called. Now Harmony is processing our PDF. You can see on the right the output from Tika. And there's our past PDF. The questions have been found. Let's add one. Let's add one from Harmony's menu just to vary. And now we click Harmonize. And here we have the results page of Harmony, and the matches are there.